Well, hey everyone, this is Sarah Hine coming to you from Wisconsin, and I absolutely love sharing holistic solutions and hope for families not only around our country, our great country, but around the world. And I have just a great topic tonight that I know is a real important topic. And I have personally invited two very special people tonight that are going to share their hearts, and they're going to share their experiences and just their raw, authentic form, their stories tonight, and really in hopes to help you, the children that you love. And so before I introduce these two amazing people, I just want to share just a couple of statistics right now that really bother me. And in fact, well, that's why we're here tonight. We need change. There is a 77% rise in the number of children needing treatment for severe mental health now. 77% rise. I mean, that's awful, and that's unheard of. We have more than 1 in 3 high school students experiencing persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. 1 out of 3. I mean, think about that. And this one is heartbreaking. Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death between 15 and 24-year-olds. And listen, these are topics that we can't ignore. We need to, as parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, teachers, nurses, doctors, we need to collectively come together as a community and say enough. And let's talk through some amazing solutions. I came here to represent Amari Global and the brand 5 years ago when it opened, because I witnessed firsthand what the overuse of medications did for my own husband. And I witnessed being in many hospitals around the good country that we live in. I witnessed firsthand that there has to be a better way. And so when I came across this wonderful doctor just a couple years ago, I met Dr. Kevin Rouse. He renewed my faith the moment I met him on a Zoom. That's the kind of doctor I want to align myself with, because he is an amazing pediatrician with over 20 years of experience. He has his own private practice that he is a partner with some other doctors. And he has, when you meet somebody, then you meet their spouse and you see how amazing they are. He has the most beautiful, wonderful, heartfelt Christian wife, Dana, 2 beautiful children. And he's just everything that this man is. I mean, wait till you see him at Christmas time, and in another month, he'll be Santa Claus. Kevin, you live for your patients. You do. You live for your patients, your kiddos, as you refer to them. And my only regret is I didn't know you when my children were younger. But meeting you has renewed my hope that there are doctors that go above and beyond, and you're one of them. We're also going to have a special treat tonight. Not only do we have a pediatrician, we have a pediatric surgical nurse, Mallory, tonight, who is a special friend to Dr. Kevin, and I'll have him share a little bit later how the 2 of them were connected. But what a treat that we have 2 healthcare professionals that specialize with pediatrics, and here they are to share some amazing solutions. So let's get started, because let's wipe out these not so cool statistics, and let's talk about hope for children. So Kevin, my first question goes to you. Tell everyone what led you to look for a more natural approach, being a pediatrician for kids. What led you to Amari?
Sure. Thanks, Sarah. Always a pleasure chatting with you on Zoom. So happy to be here. Thank you for that introduction. I'm blushing. So what led me to looking for holistic solutions? That's a good question, because I didn't realize I was looking for that. I was looking for something for myself, honestly. So this line of products fell into my lap about 2.5 years ago, when I was kind of at my worst point in life. I was in my worst shape physically, mentally, just didn't feel well. I was just looking for something for myself. And so I was introduced to these products, started using them myself, and I was intrigued that there was a kids line. And so I started thinking about that. And actually, it was with seeing one of my patients that I'll tell you about in a little bit, that I got to thinking, you know what? this stuff's making me feel well. I need to look further into this. I've been in practice for 21 years. I've been treating kids for everything from strep throat to well checkups to or ear infections. But a huge part of my practice is mental health, and we don't get trained in that, or at least we didn't get trained much back in the era that I trained back in the 90s. You just kind of learn as you go. And I had just kind of fallen into that trap of just general traditional medicine of when I say traditional medicine, I mean traditional modern medicine of a kid comes in with issues, whether it be behavior problems, attention focus issues, whatever. You just assume you have a diagnosis, you send them to get tested, they get a diagnosis of whatever it might be, anxiety disorder, ADHD, and then you do the next thing, you find a pharmaceutical agent to treat that. And that works sometimes. Sometimes it works, and sometimes there are side effects that goes with it, and sometimes it doesn't work. And so for years, parents would often ask me, is there something else we can do? And I'd be like, well, I don't think so. Or they might come and they might show me something. Hey, can we take this kind of supplement or this some natural thing? And I would look at it and say, well, I guess I don't know anything about it. You could try it. But finally, I had something fall into my lap that I could feel comfortable recommending. And after getting introduced to Dr. Talbot, the science officer who developed these products, looking into information he gave me, conversations with folks like you, I felt comfortable sharing these with families. And so I finally had something to offer people other than just jumping straight to medications.
Wow. I just have to comment on a couple things. So I find that so interesting. And I think you bring up something that, listen, we're all adults listening here. You first found Amari because you were looking for yourself. And thank you for sharing that. That because as a professional, there's so many people right now struggling themselves. And I know we're all here for kids, but I just have to pause a moment and just make sure you all heard that. There's no shame in that. Like, our lives are full. They are chaotic. They are crazy. And in order for you to serve and be your best for your patients, you have to be your best. And that's for all of us. So thank you for sharing that. And I hope all of you take note to that, to also do self-care for yourself. So what we're going to share tonight for your children and for all kids is also for you. And the second thing that I want to point out is I want to dig a little bit deeper because I know a lot of times healthcare providers, are like, hey, why do you feel this is safe to promote this? What were the kind of key things that stood out for you when you looked at the science? Were there a couple of things that we were like, wow, I mean, didn't realize that, didn't think about that? Like, what stood out for you, Kevin, that allowed you to want to give this a whirl with your patients?
Well, like I said, first of all, it was results I was getting for myself. But then just getting to speak to the person who developed these products and just learn from him directly. I mean, how many times can you go to the store and pick up a supplement off the shelf and say that you've talked to the man who developed these products? You've asked where they come from, how they're sourced, and how they're made, and give me direct studies on how they work. I mean, you can't do that. And so that was enough for me. And then I
You got all your
realized,
questions
I mean, it's not like you can go to, I mean, I don't probably need to name names of retail places, but you can't go somewhere and just say, okay, I'm going to call the guy who developed this multivitamin and say, is this really what's in here? Is this, what else is in here? And that meant a lot. And then as I looked through ingredients, it's like, well, this is all just natural stuff. I mean, if you can eat, you can take it. I mean, it's all plants basically. And so that's what it boils down to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us some of the results. So you were getting great results. So I love that you were your own guinea pig, so to speak, and you started to feel a difference. Tell us about the results you started seeing in some of your kids, some of your patients.
Okay, so I have a whole bunch of kids. I've jotted down about 3 kiddos I want to tell you about. One of them is my first patient that I use products with, and he is now 7 years old. But when I was working with him, he was 4 at the time. So rewind back to January 2020. Think about that. What happens a couple of months after January of 2020? We enter this lovely pandemic. But in January of
Mhm.
2020, this little dude saw me. He was just really struggling with behavior, extremely hyperactive. He's a twin, 4 years old, all over the place. I think they were 30 weeks, maybe 32-week gestation twins. So obviously, twins and preterm kiddos have a greater incidence of some developmental issues later on if they're born premature. So he was struggling with behavior, extreme hyperactivity. So I did what we normally do in January of 2020. I referred him to psychology for some testing. Of course, that takes a long time. So he comes back to see me in June of 2020. He had, I think his birthday, he had just turned 5 or was about to turn 5 at that time. And I had been introduced to Amari just a couple of weeks before then. So I didn't say anything because I was still learning about it. But he was about to start kindergarten in the fall, and mom could see the writing on the wall. This was not going to go well. And the psychology testing did show that he had traits consistent with ADHD, and he's pretty young for it, honestly, but still within the age to diagnose. And so I went ahead and started him on a low dose stimulant medication. I mean, I'm a physician, I can say names of meds. I started him on methylphenidate and had him back in a month like we normally would. When he came back in a month, he was doing okay, but he was having significant side effects. As the medicine would wear off, he would become very emotional. He wouldn't eat. He had about 2 good hours of preschool in the mornings, and then the negative effects of med wearing off. So that would have been about July of 2020. By that time, I'd been on products for a few weeks, had talked with Dr. Talbot, done some research, and this is a family I've known since the kids were babies. And I told mom, I said, hey, you know what? I'm learning about something new. It's not medicine. You want to give it a try? She's like, heck yeah. So we tried it with him. And fast forward, he's now 7. He's in 2nd grade, doing really well. He still requires a little bit of medicine, but not as much as we normally would have. And he's not having any of the side effects of meds. And he's taking our kids' products and doing great.
Wow. Wow. I have to, there's a comment in the chat box, go mom. I love that. And that she was willing and that you were willing. I think I agree with Sandy. It's awesome. There's a question from Gail. Did the child have ADD or ADHD?
Okay, so he, it's all called ADHD now, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Then you're kind of categorized whether you're the inattentive type, or the hyperactive/impulsive type, or combined type. He was mostly hyperactive type, hyperactive impulsive, and that's typically what we will see in the younger kiddos because there's just so much energy. But yeah, that's what he was.
Wow. Absolutely. I love it. Tell us another story. It's just
Okay,
so great.
So Sophie's a little girl who's now 5. And at the beginning of this past year, she has a diagnosis. She has a seizure disorder. She takes medicines for seizures, well controlled, but she just would not eat. And so she was a kiddo who just had horrible eating habits. And mom was just totally stressed and worried about that. She always had tummy aches, constipation. And so she started on the products. Mom kind of, not reluctantly, but she's like, well, I'm really willing to try anything. And so she started on the products. With a few weeks, I get texts from her saying, oh my gosh, Dr. Rouse, she's eating. She's actually eating again. And I'm sorry, I actually had I won't find it on my phone. I had a picture I was going to show if her mom had given me permission to do that. But basically, she started eating much better, and the tummy aches were gone. She was having regular bowel movements. So that was a big deal with her, and she's still real consistent on the products.
Wow. Oh, amazing. Tell us another one. I know you said you had 3.
Okay, I got 3. Here's another one, and I love them all, but this one's really cool because this may help some kids, some folks with special situations, and older kids, teenagers. Ty is now 14. I've seen Ty since he was a newborn. Ty was diagnosed with autism at a very early age. With that came a lot of stuff such as anxiety, ADHD as well. He was very hyperactive. So when he was in elementary school years ago, we had him on stimulants. I had him on, I think it was Concerta. And he did okay with that, but he had side effects. He wouldn't eat. Couldn't gain weight. He was emotional as the medication wore off. So he kind of got through the first few years of elementary school, and mom decided, you know what? I'm not doing medicine anymore. And I'm like, okay, let's see how we do. And he did okay. He survived. Just kind of rock and roll just a little bit. He did okay, but then fast forward to junior high. So they come to see me in it's been over. So 2021, in like spring of 21. And mom's like, he's in 7th grade now. Things are much tougher. He's got ADHD, really inattentive now. That tends to happen. Kids start out on that really hyperactive spectrum of ADHD, and then as they get a little older, more mature, they just lose the ability to stay focused. They can control some of the behaviors. But he was dealing with anxiety and then the things that go along with autism as well. And mom said, we got to do something. His grades are slipping, but I am not putting him back on medicine. And I've been seeing some things you've been posting on social media. Can you tell me about that? I'm like, absolutely. So he's 14 and he's about 130, 140 pounds, and he does not like to chew things and some texture issues. He doesn't like powders. So we put him on our adult products. And I know we're talking about the kids products, but we put him on our fundamentals pack, and which is basically capsules and 1 powder. And I'm telling you, within a month, I got a text from her saying, Dr. Rouse, he's reading chapters to his teachers instead of struggling to read a page. And he has just been been on autopilot with school since then, over a year now, using the products consistently.
Wow, Kevin, you hit a lot of different topics there. Don't worry, everyone. We're going to come back and talk about what products he used, and we're going to talk a little, deep dive a little bit more into that. But I want to turn to Mallory, because Mallory has quite the story. She's a pediatric nurse, 3 beautiful little girls. Kevin, can you just share how you guys met and introduce her, and then Mallory, we want to hear your children's stories.
So yeah, I've known Mallory. I've known Mallory for quite a while. I mean, obviously this is HIPAA, but I think she's given me permission. I met her obviously at the clinic. I'm their pediatrician, and I see her 3 beautiful girls. I have trouble keeping all their names straight. We try to devise methods to remember which one is which, and I've about got it. But anyway, so I just know her from the clinic and seeing her kids. She has dear sweet kiddos. One of them is really special needs and has had a challenging medical history, still having some challenges. But I was able to share this with her, and she's had some good results. And when you mentioned speaking with me tonight, I thought, I really need to have Mallory come on. And so I reached out to her yesterday, and she's like, yes, let's make this work. And so I appreciate it so much. So Mallory has, okay, let's see if I can get this right. Olivia's the oldest. Mm-hmm. Sophia is in the middle. Yes. And Scarlett is the little one.
Yes. I love it. I got to take a picture. I
don't have a cheat sheet in front of me, I promise.
I love this. And you know what, everyone, I just have to say, all of you that are listening from literally all over the country and even in other countries, wouldn't you all love a doctor who loves his patients as much as this? Look at that. No, seriously, that's beautiful. And Kevin, you are a gift to all of us. So Mallory, fill us in on these beautiful girls. Like, tell us, where were they at when you had that conversation with Dr. Rouse? And tell us a little bit about their story.
Well, it really started with my oldest. She has, oh goodness, so I can get it all in here. She has epilepsy, ADHD, inattentive type, OCD, sensory processing disorder, executive functioning disorder, and anxiety. And I feel like I'm missing something. That's all I can remember.
Okay, a lot.
And she was on a lot of seizure meds, and her ADHD was becoming a problem with school. And I really didn't want to put her on more meds. She was already underweight, already not eating. I didn't want to add any extra problems. But we tried the ADHD meds. She was losing weight, and he suggested these MRI products. And I was like, okay, because I don't want to give them more meds than I have to. I'm very conservative with that. And so I gave it a shot, and she did phenomenal. Her grades started coming back up. She was able to focus. She started,
wow.
Her reading was like grade levels behind, and she started catching up. And eventually now she's not even on ADHD meds. She's just on her seizure meds.
Wow. Hey, can we just all give her a round of applause? That is awesome. I'm so glad that they're here and they get to hear us cheering them on. That is awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
Look at you. Look at you.
she's awesome.
Look at all the hand claps. People are cheering for you all around the country and in other countries. They're so proud of you. Okay, tell us more. Tell us more.
Okay, so my middle one, this one here, she has severe anxiety, yeah, and ADHD, hyperactivity. And so she's still young, and I'm like, I don't really want to put her on anything. And she was complaining of headaches daily, stomach aches daily, severe constipation. I mean, she was just miserable. Hey, hi, you gotta be quiet, remember? And so we started her on the products as well. And we don't have daily headaches anymore. We don't have constipation problems anymore. She doesn't have we don't complain of stomach problems every day. I mean, it's a complete 180.
Wow. Okay, another round of applause. Great job, girls. Look at that. Good job that you take your stuff every day.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Mallory, we really want to thank you. We know you're a busy mom. You homeschool, you have a career, you work nights, I believe, right? So that you can homeschool the kids during the day. And the fact that you were willing to come on in a busy schedule and share a couple of these stories, I know it's going to inspire people, because in the chat box, drop a 1 if you have a child or know a child that has headaches, anxiety, constipation, tummy aches, isn't enjoying school, having a hard time focusing. The ones are going crazy right now. You're not alone, Mallory. Just know that you're not alone. And kudos to you that you were open to trying something more holistic first. And there's nothing sweeter to me than when I hear amazing healthcare professionals like both of you so open-minded. Like there's a time and place for meds, but we so overuse them in this country. Mallory, before I let you go, because I know you got the kids, is there any other stories you want to share or anything else you want to tell the parents that are listening?
Just that it's worth it. Like, I was always conservative, and I was always the annoying parent coming to the doctor being like, is this safe to try on kids? Like bringing some random oils or something. But like, definitely worth it. Like, it's changed their lives. Like, I know without a doubt that like my oldest would not be where she's at without these products.
Wow. Mallory, the thing that we love about this community is, listen, we're going to be real. You are representing right now real life. You're making every parent smile and feel normal and like realize like this is real life. It's not filtered and it's certainly not fake. And I want to read what somebody just put. I just have goosebumps in the chat box. They said, so proud of Mallory for being brave and helping her children holistically. So let's you guys, let's give a kudos to Mallory the mom, because thank you for being so brave and having incredible Dr. Rouse, being brave enough to share something. So listen, we're going to let you turn off your video to be with your kids, but thank you. God bless you for showing up tonight. It's an amazing story. Mallory, we're going to be in touch. Don't worry. We're going to be in touch.
Mallory. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You're amazing. Amazing. Thank you, girls. Thank you so much. And Dr. Rouse, you and I are going to, bye girls. We'll see you later. Thank you for showing up. So I want to now deep dive with you, Kevin, and really talk about, these products. And I know a lot of parents are like, I want to know more. I want to know more. And, Amare designed these products to be so simplistic, and they're very strain specific pre and probiotics. And these are so strain specific that they're very targeted in the gut for dealing with anxiety, focus, all sorts of different things that affect more than we ever thought our gut was affected by. We always thought it was the brain. So can you walk us through what you recommend patients on a regular basis, and tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the basic kids line consists of a kids pack, and the kids pack has 3 separate products in it. Of course, they can be done individually, but they all work together as a group, and I think work best is done in the pack. And typically a kids pack, we start about 100 pounds or less. I've got some, 110, 120 pound kiddos who do the kids pack, the kids products, but usually much above 100 pounds, we go to the adult products. But the kids pack has 3 things in it. The first one that I like to mention is Kids Fundamentals. Kids Fundamentals basically ties up the whole gut brain axis in a bow. And you mentioned pre and probiotics. What's really cool, and we don't get taught about this stuff in med school. I mean, in the 1990s when I trained, I don't know if I ever even heard the word probiotic. I don't know when that started coming on the field. And of course, I've recommended probiotics to patients who deal with diarrhea, or if they get diarrhea after being on antibiotics. Let's do some probiotics to get your gut bacteria back. Honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing. I mean, yeah, it sounds good. I didn't know which bacteria were the best. But what's cool about this, these are strain specific. And you hear that a lot from Amari and from Dr. Talbot. That is so key. Strain specific bacteria that have been studied down to the genus and species and the little numbers after the species that tells you exactly which strain it is. So there are 3 specific probiotics in this fundamentals, and they each do different things such as decrease stress, decrease cortisol, improve your neurotransmitters such as GABA, which is your kind of calming, focusing type transmitter, your serotonin, your dopamine, those things. They're all packaged nicely in this powder, and it's 1 scoop once a day. You can put it in anything. You can put it on food. You can put it in drink. A lot of parents have good results with something that's sort of citrusy tasting. People get creative with it. They put it in smoothies. So this also has a phytobiotic blend that helps with your focusing ability, your calming ability, stress resilience. And it's got the gut axis support for, yes, I see a comment that popped up, orange juice. A lot of folks do it. And now I don't want to, as a pediatrician, I shouldn't promote sugary containing drinks. By the way, this is sugar. All the kids' products are sugar-free. But a lot of parents tell me they do well with Sunny Delight or Tang, something citrusy, orange juice. So Kids Fundamentals, 1 scoop once a day. And then Kids Vita GBX. So 2 of the 3 products here. Kids Vita GBX. Basically, it's a multivitamin that's a chewable tablet, typically 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Now, why is this different than any multivitamin you can get over the counter? Well, number one, it's not a Flintstones. It's not a gummy. It's not packed full of sugar and a bunch of extra stuff that you don't know what it is. All right. We know this has the recommended daily allowances of 50 different vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. Okay. So basically, it's a good, well-rounded multivitamin. And then also, it's got what's unique to it, it also has components that help with that whole gut-brain axis support, immune function, anti-inflammatory effects. That we call it the Bright Mind proprietary blend, and it will just help support your whole gut-brain axis. We haven't really said what gut-brain axis means. I've started saying all that, but most of the things that control what's going on up here are actually produced down here in your gut. And so these products help maximize, make this healthy, where it communicates to the brain and does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so back to the kids pack. Kids Fundamentals, Vita GBX, and then you have this little magic potion right here called Kids Mood Plus. All right, here's a little hint. It works for moms and dads too. Okay. All right, these are basically little powder sticks like this. And key ingredients in this are extracts from things like saffron, holy basil, rosemary, clove, oregano. It's a powder pack that can just be torn open and done like a little pixie stick. I have some patients that do that. I have some patients that think that's nasty doing it that way, and so they mix it with the drink. It just really depends. You can put this on cereal, in foods, applesauce, yogurt, whatever, or you can mix it with the fundamentals. The cool thing about Kids Mood is you can do this more than once a day. So if a kid's really struggling with anxiety or issues, after school or before functions, you can pop a Kids Mood before they go. So usually up to about 3 of these a day. So that basically is your kids pack. These 3 products. You can also do a Kids Pack Plus, which has 2 boxes of the Kids Mood, and that gets you 60 of these for those kids that do more than 1 a day. I think I told you 1 scoop once a day of the fundamentals, 2 chewables in the morning, 2 chewables at night. The biggest thing I tell parents is that, you've got to be patient. You got to be consistent, and you got to be patient. The issues these kids are dealing with did not develop overnight. The gut did not get unhealthy overnight. The microbiome did not get out of whack overnight. So it takes a while to get the gut healed and the neurotransmitters doing what they're supposed to do. So I try to tell patients and families, give me at least a month, preferably 2 months of consistency before you say this is not working. I will tell you that folks that have been consistent for 2 months have not told me it's not working. Okay. I just can tell you that.
Wow.
One of my favorite things a mom told me is, Dr. Rouse, it wasn't until we got a month in that we looked back and realized where we were and where we are now that we realized that this stuff is working. So now I will say kids' mood can, sorry, I'm holding the wrong thing. Kids' mood can have some quicker results. Like honestly, between you and me and all these people watching, I used 2 kids' mood before we got on tonight because I was a little nervous.
I love it. I'm a note taker and I am taking so many notes. First of all, you're the bomb. And really, you guys, did he not do a great job of, first of all, explaining what I call a whole health approach for a child? And is it true, am I saying this correctly, that taking those 3 products are so robust that that's going to help, things from the digestion to the immune system, to the focus, to the calming? I mean, it's a very multifactorial approach. Is that accurate? Did I say that correctly?
Absolutely. And I'm a note taker too, and I'm not embarrassed. I used to think I had to have everything up in here. If a doctor, I always thought like, oh my gosh, I can't tell a parent I have to look up something. Now I Google in the room with patients. If I can't remember the dose, I'll look it up. I say, well, let's just look it up. I can't remember that. So I have my little cheat sheet here. There are so many things and so many ingredients in these products that do things like improved immune function, improved digestion, reparative function to the GI system, antioxidant effect, improved focus, attention, better sleep, calming, improved happy molecules such as serotonin and dopamine. So many different ingredients do so many things, and they interact with each other and do all the same things. And it's just like
Wow.
phased benefits is a key thing. The longer you take, the better it does. But these complement each other. I mean, there's something in the vitamin that complements what's in fundamentals and vice versa, as well as the kid's mood. So that's what's really cool about it.
Okay, I have to ask, is that your dog or a bird in the
Yes,
background?
I'm sorry. I didn't know if y'all could hear that or not.
That's hilarious.
Okay, Dash is addicted to dog treats. And I'm upstairs, Dash is downstairs, and he's wanting treats. And I'm like, my wife's not home right now, or she'd be like giving him treats so he'd shut up. But yeah, so I'm sorry. Dash is almost 10. Yeah, Dash needs a Dash needs some hemp GBX. And he's had it before, and it actually helped him. Oh, he's coming up the stairs now.
Sure, I had to. Oh my gosh, our dog is terrified of fireworks, so MTBX 4th of July is like a necessity for us. No, I think it's hilarious. I had to joke and tease you. Okay, we got lots of questions that I want to make sure we answer. So first of all, I want to address the dosage for like that middle-aged schooler or high schooler. So it's really a weight thing, right? There's somebody asking, my son is 13, should he take the adults pack? He's 125 pounds, I believe.
Okay, so that's a really good question. And I really kind of individualize it. So 125 pounder, first of all, I ask them, hey, do they like taking powders? Do they like doing drinks? Do they like chewables? If the answer is no, then I would go to our more capsule oriented products for adults. And you know what? The cool thing about this, you can mix and match. I've got some patients who do an adult, they may drink our Edge product and then also use Kids Mood. They kind of play around and see what works. They use our adult mood. They use our adult mood plus, and they may use our energy. Our adult energy plus has just a little bit of caffeine that can help with the focus, and that paired with our kids products is a great thing for our early teens. I talked to Dr. Talbot. I remember having a conversation with him directly. I think it was when we were in Cabo last year on our trip, asking about, I had a kid who was just not, he said, add a little energy plus to it. And you know what? It worked. So there's so many different things.
Wait, back up. Say, add a little energy plus to what? For what?
Okay. it for ADHD, if they're still kind of struggling with that focus component, add a
Yep.
little Energy Plus, the little, pomegranate lime, our
Yep.
original Energy Plus that's got the L-theanine in it. It's that calming focus ability that does, and it's a great adjunct to the kids pack for ADHD.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hope you all took that little, you wouldn't think giving a child energy, but 100%
Yeah.
I did that for our son. And it made it was like brain energy. That's how I describe it. Going back to the weight thing, I just want to kind of add my 2 cents. So I always found like that 100-pound mark, 125-pound mark is usually, they can definitely do the adult dosage. When Amari first came out, we didn't have the kids pack yet. My granddaughter at the time was 2. We did a half dose of the adult. We were able to open up the capsules. We did a half dose. And Kevin, I'm sure you've heard this story a million times. Probably some of you have not. She had horrific eczema. Like, we had tried everything for 2 years, and we put her on Amari, not for that. We put her on Amari for anxiety disorder that she was going through, and just, she had been through a lot. And I couldn't believe within about 3 weeks, her eczema was clearing up. And I remember going to Dr. Talbot going, wait. I put this on, we put this on her on this for sleeping better and feeling, more calm. And it did all those things. And how did it clear up her skin? And again, it's that multifactorial approach. So it's really cool, where what some of you will begin to see is, over time, you will begin to see a change of things you weren't expecting that were kind of like the positive side effects. That's how I like to describe it. Okay, we've got some more questions in here. Happy Juice. Happy Juice is a combination of 3 products. And what I want to kind of talk a little bit about that, and talk a little bit about Edge. Somebody asked, what is Edge? I love to mix that fundamentals, the kids fundamentals, or the adult mentobiotics. So either of those products. And if you are new and watching for this first time and you don't know what that is, talk to the person that brought you. They're going to show you and help you, guide you what that is. But I have found the fundamentals or the mentobiotics are great to mix in Edge. And what would be your, how would you explain Edge? Because I think Edge is great for kids. We give it to our granddaughter, and she takes it, I think, daily. How would you describe Edge?
To me, Edge is this great product that is so simple. It has 3 things in it. 3 things: palm fruit, lychee fruit, and mango leaf. I think, and sugar-free, calorie-free, and it provides just, it sounds cliche now because we say it so much, but mood, motivation, and metabolism. I mean, that's basically what it is. And it tastes good. I don't know.
I think it's a great product.
I think that
I even know that's it. It's clean, it's simple, and that's perfectly said. And I think it's actually a really great replacement to even the orange juice that we were talking about before. So, I think that's a great thing to mix in the mentobiotics or the fundamentals, which I think is so great. We've got a question of, what is the difference between like an Edge and a Mood? My daughter is 17. Would kids' Mood or Edge be better for her? And I'm just going to say, it depends on, I always look at Ashley, what are they struggling with the most? If they're really struggling with, a lot of anxiety or feeling stressed, feeling very overwhelmed, would I be accurate, Dr. Kevin, in saying I'd recommend the Mood for sure? If they're dealing with those things, like, what would be your answer to the difference between Mood and Edge?
Okay. So for me, Mood Plus is a game changer. That is the product that I think has changed my life the most, just being real. If you really want to address those serotonin, dopamine issues, then Mood Plus is where you need to go. It's kind of like, I have a great thought and I'm having trouble putting it into words. I think Edge is great for sustained good mood. Just do that. You do both of them daily. I think Edge is just a good little background. But Mood Plus just kind of really hits it where it needs to be hit, if that makes sense.
I agree.
For some reason, I'm thinking of asthma. If there's any medical people watching, with asthma, you take your daily controller medicine, but then you have your rescue inhaler that you use just for those bad
Mm.
times. And mood is not a rescue. I mean, you can use extra doses through the day as you need it, but to me, edge is that daily controller, but mood is that boom, you take it, especially when you need it.
Oh, that's
I
good.
don't,
That
and
was really good. That's a good, I like that. I've never heard it said that way. Look, you guys, we're learning every day. I love joining. I love getting to interview these people because I learned so much. I'm like, ooh, that's a really good one. We have a comment in here from so many parents. I hear how thankful they are for Mood Plus. One time we ran out of kids' mood. It was, oh my gosh, every parent was like, I mean, they were just begging and borrowing and stealing from other parents because they were like, I can't be without it. So it's super important. So I'm really looking through all the questions. I think Kevin, you did such a great job that I think most parents are realizing, wow, this is a really robust program that is a multifactorial approach. And I love that you also address realistically time and being patient, which I think is so key. And giving it that 2-month period. And I love how you said patients are doing it very consistently for 2 months. I mean, they're seeing something. It might not be 100% improvement, but they're definitely seeing something, which I think is so awesome that you shared that. I have to ask this last question. And feel free to throw any more questions you have as we wind down, because I want to make sure we get all your questions answered. But obviously you became very passionate about this. I mean, when you first looked at Amari, you were looking at it for yourself. And here you are now passionately sharing. I mean, you have a lot of patients. You've helped a lot of families with this. You've brought this into your practice. And this wasn't what you saw yourself doing in the beginning. Is that accurate?
nope, not at all.
Can you tell us a little bit about that story? Because, I mean, isn't it funny how God works? Like, here we are, Kevin, a couple years later, and I
Yeah.
can't shut the man up about it. This man, I mean, I asked him to come do an interview, and he's already going to patients and other healthcare providers saying, "Come on with me." Kevin, how did you get to this place? Tell us.
So how did I get to the point of starting to share it with patients and families?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's kind of like when you go to the movie and you see a movie you love, you're going to tell people how good the movie was.
Right.
And you go to a restaurant you like and the food was good. It's like, oh my gosh, you got to go try this restaurant. And I just got kind of tired of seeing people eat crappy food and see crappy movies. So I wanted to know about the good ones. I don't know if I could say that word on
That's
here.
awesome.
Okay?
That's awesome. And you've now been able to, I think the thing that we also need to talk about, which is so important, is part of mental wellness is financial wellness. And so many times I think people just think that healthcare providers and doctors are just sitting on a pile of cash. They don't realize the overhead expenses that they have and all the educational costs that they have. And most of the time they're in debt most of their lives. And so this has also been this win-win. You've been able to give this extension to your patients that you wouldn't have had access to, or they wouldn't have had access to. And at the same time, you're able to bring in a revenue of income that can help offset the costs to a lot of your overhead. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Okay. So, I didn't know if I was going to bring this up or not, but, I didn't really realize when I first started using these products that this would be something I could share with people and earn some income. I didn't know that. I've never done anything like this before, never had any intention to do like this. So, and then I started realizing, oh, wait, this is one of those things. This is one of those things. And, but you know what? I don't care what it is, it's working and it's helping. So, and then I had to get over that little hurdle of my doctor's trying to sell me something. And, and I had a conversation with you about this in the beginning. It's like, is this okay? I mean, are other doctors doing this? And so, I got to thinking, you know what? They're paying to come see me. I mean, I'm making a living off kids having flu and strep and ear infections or whatever. And so, so that helped with that. I'm real transparent with families. I say, you know what, this is stuff you got to buy. And I just want to make you aware of that. I've never had a patient say,
Yep.
"Ooh, I'm leaving. You're selling me stuff. I don't sell it to them in my office. I don't keep it on the shelves in the clinic. I don't retail it out of the office. That was just not for me. But I give them the information. I say, here, go take a look. Let me know what you think. And everybody's really great. I've never had anybody say, no, I don't want to know about this. They're just grateful that I'm offering them something else to take a look at it. Does everybody try it? No. But I tell you, there's not a day goes by that I don't see somebody that I tell about it. I mean, even today, and my little technique, it's not real high tech. I have these little slips of paper in my pocket. In fact, I've got 2 or 3 in my pocket right now. Moms, I'm supposed to text some stuff to tonight and send them some links. And so I'll do that here in a little bit. But
I love it. I love it.
I'm
I love
rambling,
that
but
you're just being real. And Kevin, would you say that I think we have to do a mind shift? Our health insurance, okay, it's not a secret. A lot of it pays for us to just Band-Aid. And we have to start waking up and realizing that we're going to either spend money here trying to Band-Aid, or we're going to spend here being well. And I think we have to do this paradigm shift that we're going to have to spend some money to be able to have health one way or the other. And I'd rather have health where I feel great instead of Band-Aiding it. And I think people are waking up to that, and they're recognizing that and realizing that our health insurance is not paying for everything that makes us healthy. And like you said, it's really that money, what I call a money mindset, that we are all making. Teachers make money teaching our children. I mean, we're all making money somehow, way, shape, or form. But to be able to offer a very safe, clean, effective product that is helping, to be able to bring in an extra stream of income to help offset all your costs that you've got going on, and to be able to serve patients effectively, it's beautiful. And I love that you fell in love with so much of the purpose and what we were doing, that you were able to become open-minded. I don't think doctors are taught to have to be entrepreneurs or business people, and you just did it authentically. And I hope that inspires all of you listening, because listen, we're all in this together. We want to raise a healthy next generation. And I think it's so important. Somebody said, I'd rather pay for help now than for help when I'm sick. I love that you said that. It's true. And I think we have to stop lying to ourselves and telling ourselves what we can't afford. And instead of figuring out ways to afford what is real. Somebody put, Big Pharma is okay with us being sick. Well, I kind of have to agree with that one. Probably I'm not supposed to, but I'm going to say, I love this comment. When you watch your children change, calm, and blossom before your eyes, it is more than worth it. Amen. Amen. Okay, a couple more questions, then we're gonna let Dr. Rouse go, and we're gonna thank you all for joining us. But Gail asks, will Edge allow sleep, or is it energizing? I don't take it before bed. I've never had I don't recommend taking it before bed. I don't know if it's necessarily energizing, but I guess, what's your thoughts on that one, Kevin?
I think that's kind of individual. I've had folks say, most people who do Edge, and I don't know, I may not be totally correct here, but I think most people who do Edge drink it in the morning in their happy juice concoction, and maybe another one in the afternoon. Most people don't do it at nighttime, but I've had people, but myself included, feel like they have better sleep when they're on Edge, if that makes sense. And there was a couple of things I did. One thing for sure I want to mention too, since we're talking about sleep, I've had phenomenal results with our sleep product with kids. Okay. Oh gosh, sleep questions from parents wears me out. Okay. My kid's not sleeping. I don't know. What do you want me to do? You want me to come put them to sleep? I don't know. It's like one of those things. I don't mean that rudely. It's just very frustrating, because it's one of those things that's kind of hard to help, hard to fix. I tell people about, good routine, sleep hygiene. Everybody knows about that. And yes, I've prescribed sleep meds against my better judgment. I very seldom do that anymore. But our sleep product, which is a capsule, is safe for kids. And I've got 2 or 3 patients who actually use that. They open the capsule, one of them, and put it in something at nighttime, and it helps them. It's much better than giving your kid melatonin. Melatonin, it teaches your body not to make its own. So our sleep product helps your body make its own. And then it's got some other herbal ancient medicine remedies for sleep that's great and safe, plant-based. So a shout out for our sleep product. Also, our
I'm
kids.
so glad you said that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also a lot of kids who do the kids pack, the parents notice their kids sleep better as well, because it does improve that GABA production and the natural calming neurotransmitter. I'm seeing some questions pop up. Do kids take a whole sleep? Depends on the age. Yeah, most of them would take a whole, and of course, if they're a teenager, they can take the same as do two a night or more. But for a kiddo, I'd start with one.
I see a lot of parents. I get almost every parent of teenage children that is struggling with stress, struggling with anxiety. They're not able to fall asleep, so they're on their phones, and I'm like, take the phones away. I'm just gonna say that one right away and get them on some sleep and get them on some mood. And I've even seen teenagers, kids, adults that are really going through a lot, whether it's taking tests and that makes them nervous, sports and the stress that comes with it, school peer pressure, whatever they're going through. If they're really struggling, I've also at times given my kids or myself extra mood before I go to bed. I'll take 2 extra mood and I'll take it with my sleep, and it calms my monkey brain, you know, where your brain just keeps kind of racing. So that is another one that I have also found to be super, super helpful. I love Molly. She put, we remove phone or TV 45 minutes for bed. That would be kind of that sleep hygiene or that good routine. Absolutely. Okay, before we go, any other tips? This has been so great. Kevin, I'd love to talk to you every week. This is just wonderful. Any other tips you'd give the parents, or any like last words about going into the cold and flu season, going into winter now, just to prepare parents, the stress our kids are under right now and what they're dealing with? You know, what would you encourage parents?
Wow. Well, the statistics you gave at the beginning, Sarah, are very, I mean, I see it. I see it every day. I'm on call tonight for our hospitalist service, and I hope it doesn't happen, but almost every night that I'm on call for a hospital service, I have a kid that has to be admitted to the pediatric floor awaiting placement to a psych facility.
Oh,
And there's
Kevin.
nothing medically wrong with them. They just have to wait in the hospital till that bed is available, and they're just not safe to go home. And it's just heartbreaking. So I just think, and I think I tell you this every time we talk, parents, talk to your children, notice things that are different. If they're, ask them about their day, how highs and lows. Tell them have them tell you one good thing about the day, a high, and one bad thing about their day, and you can learn so much from that. But talk to your kids. Watch for signs. Are they withdrawing? Are they staying in their room? Are they, whatever? Have meals with your kids. And once you start investing in them, they're going to talk to you. They're going to talk to you. And so, just spend time with your kids and just watch for those signs that they may be experiencing stressors. It's amazing how much bullying goes on. I saw a kiddo today who's, bullying can be cyberbullying, social media. It can be present. I saw a little girl today who another boy physically hit her on the bus. And so just different things that, just ask your kids about that stuff.
Absolutely. And I'll leave stay, I think the whole roundedness of feed them correctly, help them get good sleep, help their gut brain connection be healthy, keep talking to our kids. And I'm going to add one last thing. We need to laugh more. Plan something fun with your kids. Plan something fun and have a joy. We need to bring joy back. And I don't think we talk enough about that. I was talking about that with a friend today. Play games. Like, seriously, we need to laugh. Yes.
Board games.
Yes.
Apples to apples. My kids used to love to play that game. Sorry.
Yes.
Whatever. Play games.
Yes. Absolutely. Kevin, thank you. You just made me, you made me happy tonight. And I hope that all of you listening tonight just got one nugget of information. We appreciate your time, Kevin. I know you're so busy. And for Mallory to come on with her 3 kids and all that she goes through, we are so, so humbled by your experience, your vulnerability, your transparency, and just your authentic you. And you've given so many families tonight, and hundreds, and I'm sure thousands that will watch this recording, hope. Thanks for all of you that have joined. Listen, we want you to reach out to the person that brought you here tonight. They're going to guide you. They're going to serve you, and they're going to love you. They're going to help you figure out what's the best. Give it time. And listen, stay in touch with them. Stay in touch with them, because they're going to help you through the problem solving phase. Maybe you have to mix a couple things together, try some different things. Be patient, right? Dr. Kevin, you said be patient. And we hope to have you back on, and we'll talk to you guys soon. So all our love, and thanks, Dr. Kevin. Give our love to Dana. We'll see you soon. Bye,
Will do.
everyone.
Thanks, Sarah. Bye,
All right,
everybody.
you bet.